talking about shotguns as a tool for stopping bad guys. Everybody that's ever owned a shotgun or talked to somebody that's owned a shotgun has probably heard you just point this sucker down the hall and let her rip and any bad guys are going to be laid out flat. I'll tell you what, that's not entirely true. We've got some targets set up today and we are going to test an array of shotguns. Shotguns that we see in many homes across the country. Very available, common shotguns. We're going to go from a very tactical, purpose-built tool like this to the kind of tool that you would see average homeowner have for hunting and utilitarian purposes. We're going to test it with buckshot at two distances, 5 yards and 10 yards. These are distances you would see inside of a home. Anything closer, what we know is that shot pattern is going to get tighter and tighter. The purpose here is that we want to make sure you understand that you actually need to aim this tool in that type of a scenario. It's not just a point it and blast away. So we're going to get right to it. We've got 5 different guns and actually a revolver that shoots .410, and we're going to see what that looks like. Let's get to it. So we've got a very common double-aught buckshot. That's 9 pellets. Each pellet weighs about 50 grains. So sometimes I've heard people say this is like shooting 9mm rounds. No, it's not at all. 53 grains each projectile. We're going to start out the Mossberg pump, very common pump shotgun. We're going to put 2 rounds into the target, one at 10 yards, one at 5 yards. And we will then measure them, document it, and go on to the next shotgun. This has what's called a cylinder bore in it. Cylinder bore basically means there's no choke at all. It's basically unrestricted. So I'm going to guess that this is going to be one of the widest shot patterns of the guns that we test. So let's load up our 2 rounds. We're going to get that done. So we're at 10 yards. From here, we're going to shoot the body area. Stand by. Guns on safe. Let's walk down. I like that. That large hole on the left is the wadding. The wadding is part of the shotgun shell construction. So now we're going to shoot up towards the head at 5 yards, same double-aught buckshot round. Here we go. Ready? Gun's empty. I'm going to get my tape measure. All right. So let's take a look at that. We were at 30 feet. Let's count this out. We know we had 9 pellets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's really nice. Widest spread there is about 6.5 inches. Was the widest spread at 30 feet. Now we look at our headshot. We know all of those rounds were in there. It looks like we're about 3 inches, the widest spread. This is with the cylinder bore. So these both would be devastating impacts at this distance. We're going to go on to the next shotgun. So we've got another pump. This is a very famous gun used in law enforcement. This is the 916A, 916 Alpha. This is another cylinder bore, which means there's no choke in this. One thing people need to keep in mind, when you're shooting a pump, there is no gas system or recoil system absorbing any of that energy. So I grew up shooting an 870, and which is a pump, very popular, great platform, and you basically are absorbing all of that impact. But for what this gun is made for, it's an excellent tool. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to load up 2 rounds of that double-aught buck, 9 pellets in there. We're going to do our 10-yard shot first. Okay, here we go. Very good. We'll walk on down now to the 5-yard line. All right, here we go. Let's shoot at the head now. Gun's empty. Let me grab that tape measure. Woo! 4 rounds of that double-aught buck's already starting to smart the shoulder. All right, let's take a look here again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 of them impacted almost on top of each other. Widest spread, about 7 inches again. So these are very similar platforms. We definitely have devastating hits here. But what I want you to notice, just that slight bit of difference, 15 feet. and we doubled the shot pattern. We doubled it. I'm thinking now as we're filming this, we probably should, for the heck of it, take one of these guns and run it to the back of the range before we're finished here today so we can see how these things open up. All right, on to the next gun. We've got a beautiful, beautiful, this is a waterfowl gun, the Franchi, often mispronounced Franchi. Franchi's now owned by Benelli. This is a inertia-driven shotgun. This one has a modified choke. We're going to put up on the video here a description of how these different chokes works. Different chokes work. Come on down range here, Drew. Going to load up 2 rounds of our double-aught buck, and we will again run this test. First round is going to go into the chest cavity at 10 yards. Here we go. There's 1. Let's go down to 5. So you're going to immediately notice a big difference here with this longer barrel and the tighter choke pattern. Here we go on the headshot. Gun's empty. I'm going to set it down. While I'm at it, I might as well get our next target. So, we'll take a look at this. You're going to start to see now the purpose of the shotgun, and those choke tubes really start to affect the shot pattern. So we definitely have all 9 pellets in there. We've got a slightly tighter spread now. We're down to about 4.5 inches, so we've shaved off 2.5 inches at that distance. Headshot, still totally devastating. This big hole is from the wad. That's not the actual shotgun shell. So we've now shrunk down to about 2 inches at 5 yards with the longer barrel and tighter choke. Get the next one up. This here is the FN. This gun is built for fighting. So now we're on to one of my favorite shotguns, especially for this purpose, the FN. The FN SLP, extended magazine tube. This thing is made for fighting. So we've got our couple rounds of buck in there. We're going to do our 10 and 5. Ready? Beautiful. Gun's on safe. Let's head down to 5. All right, we're going to make that headshot. Here we go. Safety'd be good. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Gun's empty. I'm going to set her down. So let's check that out. So this gun is basically built for slugs and buckshot. It is meant for exactly what we're using. Look at that devastating hit at 5 yards. Same thing, 10 yards, 30 feet. We've still got a nice pattern here. We're about 5.5, 6 inches. Again, the big hole, when you see that, is from the wadding. That's not from the shot itself. All 9 pellets are still nice and tight. That's at 30 feet. And remember, in a minute here, we're going to put another target up, and we're going to walk back out to the back side of the range and try a few shots just so you can see what's happening. Get the next one up here. We're going to run the 20 gauge now. This I bought for my son years ago. Now he's too big boy and doesn't need it anymore. Gotta grab some ammo. So I did not have any 20 gauge buckshot. So we're going to be shooting some heavy lead bird shot. This would be what you'd use for pheasant hunting. Number 4 shot. The gun here, this is a basic Mossberg 500. This is the youth model, so it's a little shorter. I actually enjoy this gun with a rifled barrel on it for deer hunting. It's a great accurate gun. It's handy. It's not something that I would want to be shooting all day long, shooting clays or out dove hunting or something, but really handy in a blind or hiking, moving around, hunting. So let's see what this thing does. All right, here we go. Guns on safe, let's head down. So this is going to be interesting because people always say, well, I just whack them with birdshot in my house. You're going to see the problem with that. Here we go. All right, let's check that out. So, birdshot. What efficacy do you think those tiny pellets are going to have impacting major organs at that distance? None. You'd be lucky to get these at that distance through heavy clothing. A lot of what ripped this hole here was not the blunt force of the impact, it was just so many pellets hitting in a tight area that they perforated the paper, as well as the wadding. So take note of that when you're talking about using birdshot to protect and defend your house. There's a very good reason that you're not out hunting big game with birdshot. Take a look. I'm gonna swap it up, we got one more. All right, so this is a purpose-built 410 revolver. I'm not in love with them, but people do carry them, and I want you guys to see what they do. So this is a Ultimate Home Defense buck. This one's made by Remington, and these are triple aught. Why not double? Because the diameter of that larger double aught buck pellet won't fit down the barrel the way that they stack them. So we'll see how this works. All right, here we go. We'll get one into the body. Woo-hoo-hoo! All right, we'll walk on down. That's a trip. Can you see that? Looks like we've got 3 impact points at this distance. I gotta count and see how many pellets are actually in one of these. All right, now we're gonna make that headshot. You ready? All right, gun's empty and safe. I'm gonna drop it on the table here and we'll go down and take a look. So, I see 1, 2, 3. I think one of those is a wad, actually. One, we've got 4 impact points here, and there's the wadding from the top one. So we're missing some pellets here. At 30 feet, you can see I was holding on the center here just based on that spread. I have no idea where those other pellets even went. Here's that headshot from 5 yards, and we did keep all those together. This is the problem with that platform. You basically are pointing and hoping. I held good. I fired it in single action mode. I had a good trigger press, so you can see by the 30 foot, the 10-yard shot, that you have very wide dispersion. This thing is only gonna be used real up close and personal. Not a tool I recommend whatsoever. But I wanted you guys to see that, and now you have. So what I'd like to do now, I'm gonna put a fresh piece up, and we're gonna load one of the cylinder bore guns, and we're gonna load the one that we got the tightest group out of, the Franchi, and we are gonna go all the way back down to the back side of the range and try this again. Franchi, excuse me. How many of those are in there? 5 pellets, I believe. I don't know how we were missing those. How about we start out with the cylinder bore? We'll start out with the cylinder bore all the way back. I kind of dig this guy, the Smith & Wesson. It's a fun little gun. Grab a couple more rounds of buckshot. Got 2 here. Why don't you guys come with us? So now we're at 15 yards. 15 yards here. So we're gonna try 2 again. I'm gonna center a chest, and then head. And we're gonna see what type of spread that we get now. This is a high quality buckshot. This is a cylinder bore shotgun. This was a gun that was carried by law enforcement for decades, a Smith & Wesson 916A. And we'll just see what kind of patterning we get. Ready? All right. Before I send another one down there, what I want you guys to see, so we're talking some serious width now. We're at 45 feet. We added 5 more yards, and now our group opened up to a foot, okay? I held on there. I think this is a good shot pattern. This is what you're going to expect. But now what if I had to take a headshot from that distance? Is this the tool for that job? This is what I want you guys thinking about. I think we've got a good effect here, but to be totally honest, so we've clipped the heart, we've clipped the lung, a couple rounds through the lung, we've hit the spine. I have no control over where these hit. One could have hit here, one could have hit here, one could have hit here. I can't control that. So that's the one big problem, this dispersal of rounds. All right, I think that showed what we're gonna see out of the cylinder bore. We'll switch over to the modified. We'll try that. All right, now we'll try the one that gave us the tightest pattern. Tightest pattern from 15 yards. You ready, Drew? Do the same thing. Modified choke in the Franchi double-aught buck. Here we go. All right, gun's cleared out. Why don't you guys come with? We'll set this gun down. That's actually pretty interesting what I'm looking at here. So, not much tighter. 9.5 versus the 12. I don't see as much side-to-side splaying. Some of that could have just been that individual shot. We need to shoot a bunch of these to really get a good idea. And every shotgun shell, every manufacturer makes different products. So you've got to group the stuff you're going to shoot in your gun. This stuff we buy by the case. So I think this is very indicative, though, of most shotguns. This is the stuff I wanted you to see. At that kind of a distance, you're not making headshots. You're making area shots. You're shooting into a large area. That shotgun, definitely higher quality than the 916. The longer barrel, tighter choke, you can see it gave us a better effect. Look at that, spine, heart, lung. Devastating, but you gotta remember, and you gotta keep in mind that you do not have the ability to have pinpoint accuracy. You're shooting at these distances in dinner plate size areas. Is this an end-all be-all discussion on shotguns as fighting tools and shot patterning? Definitely not. What we're trying to do is give you an overview so that you understand that these are not an end-all be-all weapon that's a magic wand that you just point in the general direction of a bad guy and it stops them. You need to intentionally aim this firearm. This is a kind of a thing that is so misconceived, especially because folks don't like shooting shotguns. Go get a couple cases of buckshot and shoot them. You're going to understand why people don't shoot them. That good body position, gun tight into your body and a good forward bias is going to help you absorb that recoil, but in these pumps, you're soaking all of it up. There's no mechanical system absorbing recoil like in a semi-auto. Know and understand the way your gun patterns. You own one of these. If you keep one at the house as a weapon, go get some buckshot and practice with it. Understand what the gun's going to do, understand its limitations. At distance, like across a big room, we're shooting at an area the size of a dinner plate. That's how big that shot is spreading out. You are accountable for every projectile that leaves a gun that's in your hands. You're accountable for it. So So if there's 9 pellets coming out of the gun and 4 or 5 of them fly right on past the target through the window and into your neighbor's house, that's on you. Know and understand the limits and the effective distances that you can engage with one of these. This is Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Knowledge is not power until applied. Get after it, do some testing, do some shooting, learn something about the weapon that you have in your closet or under your bed. Be well. You don't want to stand there, bro. All right, here we go. We're gonna shoot right at the head. Up 15 yards with the Franchi modified choked double-aught buck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pellets. The thing we got to keep in mind, you guys watched me do it on video, I took slow, careful aim to place that barrel right where I wanted it to be at that 45-yard mark, or 45-foot mark, 15 yards, and you still are dealing with large areas. You don't have the ability to really hone in. Unless you have the exact same gun and the exact same, this is exactly why we tell you not to use birdshot. You think this would penetrate a heavy coat at that distance? This is 10 yards, 5 yards. A lot of this perforation has come from the wadding and it just comes from it tearing the paper. You are not going to get down to the bits that you need to with that light birdshot to actually cause any major injury. So we're going to do a wrap up on this and blah, 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 blah. So check it out. There was 5 pellets, 10 yards. I shot 5 pellets. 1, 2, I got 3 holes, and I believe this one to be the wad. So I actually only have 2 holes. I think 2 pellets may have penetrated 1 hole. That's at 30 feet. That's a distance of like a nice sized living room or a hallway. Where did the other ones go? Here's the headshot. One of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the wadding. So one of them completely missed the head, and that was at 15 feet, and I held on that pretty tight. This tool is very, very ineffective unless you are up close. And how do you know where you're going to have to engage? That 45 long Colt sucks in the judge, dude. Try it. Have you shot them? The problem is, I'm going to show you real quick. That 45 long Colt has got to jump from here all the way across that open space to get to the forcing cone to actually do anything. They group like this. They group like this. For a pistol caliber round, you've got, this is like a, it's like a minivan, you know? It's not a work van, it's not a race car, it's not good at anything other than losing friends. Just kidding, I've owned lots of minivans. It's a vehicle that's made to do a lot of things pretty good, but it doesn't do anything great. And that's this thing's problem. It's not a shotgun, it's not really a very great pistol. If you're gonna shoot for 45 long Colt, go buy a gun that actually shoots 45 long Colt and you can have a really good degree of accuracy. If you own one, don't get sore. You bought something that's a piece of shit. That was funny. All right, we're gonna go back to work. Birdshot at short distance, I don't like it. Why? We don't hunt with birdshot at short distance. It's just not worth it. Use a projectile that can stop men. All right, I gotta get back to work. Drew's staring at me, pissed.